I've built a lot of products, but I've never got a chance to build a product that addresses the gist and the heart of the iGaming industry. When you provide data and dashboards, you're only providing sort of information in colorful bar charts and so on. That doesn't really tell you what you should do.
In the high-velocity world of iGaming, Mex Emini engineers growth at machine speed. Fusing AI, data, and marketing technology, he builds systems that think faster, scale smarter, and redefine what performance means.
Do you think like most businesses are fundamentally looking at automation wrong, like optimizing the wrong layer or whatnot?
I think that you cannot automate a broken process. By automation, that didn't mean that we replaced or we just reduced cost. We also increased our productivity by, I would say, like tenfold. Now you don't have the traditional methods of hacking or malicious methods. Now everything is built with AI, so it's very smart, and you have to be a step ahead, and it's becoming very hard to be one step ahead. So I think it's critical to integrate cybersecurity tools. My goal, as I said, is to change how businesses make decisions, but I also want to make sure that
Welcome to Automate or Die Trying. I'm Will, and today I'm joined with Max Emini. He's a co-founder of DataFlair.ai and founder or former CTO of Sigma, the world's largest iGaming festival network. So Max has spent his career at the intersection of data, decision-making, and speed, scaling affiliate marketing engines, launching multi-million-dollar products in their first year, and building tech teams across 4 countries. But here's what caught my attention most when it comes to Max. Max isn't just talking about collecting data or generate insights. He's asking the harder question. What happens after the insight? Are we actually automating the right thing? So Max, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Will. Nice to meet you, and thank you for having me.
Sure. So for folks listening, can you give us a quick snapshot of what you're building at DataFlair AI and what kind of scale or problem are you solving?
Yeah, so basically I've been in the iGaming industry for more than a decade, 16 plus years. And I've built a lot of products, but I've never got a chance to build a product that addresses the gist and the heart of the iGaming industry, which is what customers and what players want. And hence I built my own company, which is a decision intelligence platform that has a very big and bold mission to change how businesses make decisions. What I mean by this is we know a lot of businesses make decisions at the end of the day based on experience, past experience, gut feelings, some kind of data. But decisions don't need to be anxious. And when you make the wrong decision, you should know as early as possible so you can pivot as fast as possible.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you've been in the game for a while now, iGaming, MarTech, affiliate systems. How did you first get pulled into the world of data and automation?
The way I started in the iGaming industry was quite interesting. So I was building software for a lot of companies, and then I got a chance to work for a client who is involved into the affiliate marketing industry, or I would say lead generation industry. And they needed the software to manage offers, but the way they managed the offers was very localized. And then I saw that this industry has a lot of potential because they have a lot of data. They need a lot of data, but the data is scattered everywhere around. So collecting those data and automating the operations was critical and crucial to be the first, to be the best in the industry, and also to be the one who enters the market the first.
Okay. So was there like a specific project or failure early on that changed how you think about turning data into an action?
Well, I wouldn't say there was a failure, but there was this constant, battle of chasing of who's first, competition where you win or lose. You're dependent on a lot of external factors, like, Google algorithm changes or regulations and compliance changes. And I felt that this could be predicted. I felt that you could actually avoid or even pivot when these things happen much faster. So that's how I got this idea, actually.
So let's kind of dive in a little bit, like in the core of it. Right? You talk about decision intelligence, right? Which sounds great, but most companies still see like they're stuck at dashboards, right? They've got these insights, but nothing changes. So where's the breakdown when it comes to that for companies to make these decisions?
Well, that's a very good question. Thank you, Will. So
Yeah.
when you provide data and dashboards, you're only providing sort of information in a colorful bar charts and so on. But that doesn't really tell you what you should do. It still your decision is based on your gut feeling or experience or even some data, which is good, much better than just shooting at the dark. But where decision intelligence comes into play is that all of those insights, then they are segmented, and contextualized on what your business needs are. Business needs that you have predefined, or you might not have predefined, but they are specific to your industry or niche that you are in. Yeah.
Okay. So if the insights are table stakes now, what does automating context, right, actually mean in practice? I mean, can you walk us through like a real example, like a real life example of this?
For example, what we do at DataFlair, we do player sentiment analysis. So what we do is we collect a lot of sources on what players think about a certain game, a certain brand, and so on. And then we segment those data, we contextualize them with the help of AI. We have our own RAG. And once this data is contextualized, then it's connected to several segments. And all of this is done automatic. And then it's served to you as a recommendation engine. And that recommendation engine, the accuracy of recommendation engine, even though it's very accurate, it also depends on how well your data is organized and how well are you running the operations. And
Now, yeah. So, do you think like businesses are looking at this wrong? Like here's a spicy one, right? Do you think like most businesses are fundamentally looking at automation wrong, like optimizing the wrong layer or whatnot?
I think that you cannot automate a broken process.
Amen to that.
Yeah, I think that first, automation should come from within. What many companies tend to do is to look at technology as a tool to adjust to how they're already doing things, which often doesn't work. The same thing is being done with AI. A lot of companies who want to become AI first, they're not trying to fix the process within and let technology and let them adjust towards automation. They are expecting that automation is adjusted towards their processes, which is often either broken or flawed, or very
Yeah.
flawed processes at the end of the day.
Yeah. Bruce Schneider says security is a process, not a tool, right? And that can be applied to a lot of sectors, everything. To be honest with you, but it's definitely applied here for sure. So, so give me an example of a company automating the right thing versus something adding speed to like a broken process. Do you have an example of that?
Well, I do have an example in the past companies. In the company I used to work for, we automated the right things because we knew what was there to automate. So when we adjusted ourselves into the process, we adjusted the process so we can easily automate all the steps. And that made sense because the context was here. So we knew we had the right context, we made sure we had the right process, and that's why it worked. And by automation, that didn't mean that we replaced or we just reduced cost. We also increased our productivity by, I would say, like tenfold almost.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I do have some bad examples, but not on my experience, but I can give you some bad examples as well.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. That it's always good to use those as use cases as well, right? So like you scale Sigma's tech team from a small to like a 45 people while launching new products, right? When you're moving that fast, how do you decide what to automate versus what needs a human in the loop?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Will. So just for clarification, I did scale the tech team to 45, but the total team of Sigma totally,
Mm.
which I was managing, was more than 130 people.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
which included also non-tech people because I was a
Hmm.
CTO for the group, but also a managing director for the B2C sector of Sigma, which I grew from scratch. So how do you actually grow from scratch? How do you actually manage this fast-paced growth? I think you always need to make sure that you are reflecting on things regularly and see, as you build, you see where you can improve. You cannot just continue building and building and building. Even though I'm a launch first, go live first mindset, I
Hmm.
always come back and try to fix things along the way. But I don't get stuck in fixing as well. And this is where the automation comes into play. The more automation you have, the less you're involved in fixing things and moving backwards.
Yeah. Now, is that strategy shifted as the implementation of AI? Do you see it? That paradigm shift where you may not need as many people now because there's things that AI could do or take in place of certain
Yeah.
duties or jobs or whatnot.
Yeah, that is one way to look at it, but
Mm-hmm.
also a better way to look at it, in my experience, is how do I make sure that these people that I have, who are very talented in this in specific industry where it's very hard to find good talent, how
Mm-hmm.
can I make sure that their productivity is 10 times better? And for
Yes.
me, that has always been the mindset, even though you could use it to reduce cost. So
Mm-hmm.
depending on which phase on the company you are you in a rapid growth or are you now more on the cost saving growth? It depends how you want to use AI, but it can go both ways. For me, it's always been the growth factor on my decision making.
Yeah, I heard this from one of my mentors. He mentioned about AI replacing people, and he's like, AI doesn't. It's not necessarily gonna. It will replace some mundane tasks and jobs and whatnot, but for the most part, like people that are experienced, right? It's not gonna replace those people, but it will. The people that know how to use AI
Yeah,
are just gonna get that much smarter and that much productive, like you mentioned. So
absolutely,
yeah, yeah,
absolutely,
it's good
absolutely.
points.
That's a good.
So so let's talk about recommendations, right? Not just here's a chart, but actually telling the business what to do, right? How to build systems that give recommendations that people must actually trust and act on. So, give me your experience around that sector, around that.
So what does how do you build correct recommendations? So you have
Yeah.
industry knowledge, industry specific knowledge. You have a lot of external data, competitor research data, and then on top of it, you have your own goals, OKRs or KPIs, whatever you're using
Mm-hmm.
to measure your growth. And then once you connect your KPIs, and within the KPIs, the more detailed you are on your initiatives, the better it becomes. So let's say you, for example, you have an initiative. I want to reach 50 customers by the end of the first quarter of 2026, right? You put this KPI, your goal, within the context of the industry you are, and then the recommendation engine will actually tell you by reading your data, competitor data, and also the industry knowledge, and say, hey, look, if you want to reach 50 customers, I think this is the niche you should basically go ahead and pursue much more
Mm-hmm.
mm, aggressively. So this is what how a recommendation engine would look like. This is just a simple example, and this is done by a combination of a lot of data and definitely a very well trained AI model.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So what is the failure mode you see most often when companies try to automate recommendations? At what point did they fail? You think?
I think what I've seen is that when companies try to automate recommendations, is that they try to automate the recommendations which have very low impact. So
Mm,
sometimes companies get confused between output and outcome.
that's a
Something
good
can have
point.
a big output, but you're not really measuring the outcome. So you would say, oh, I churned like 50 pages of content
Right.
uh, without thanks to my automation or to my recommendation engine. But was that content impactful? Did it make sense? Is it
Yeah.
giving you more value? And this is the biggest, I think, the biggest challenge right now and the failure.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So you've been involved in due diligence across like AI, fintech, and martech companies, right?
Yeah.
When you evaluate companies' data stack, right? What separates the ones that are actually decision ready from the ones that are just that they just look sophisticated?
Oh, that's an interesting question, Bill. Thank
Yeah.
you. So when we used to do acquisitions, um, we would look at how much intelligence do they own within the industry, how much unique intelligence and data they have within the industry, because not all data is the same. And
Mm-hmm.
then we would look at how well is their data organized and structured and how it's connected. And based on that, we would know if we could integrate or build a better AI or recommendation engine within their system. So that was more of the ranking factor because there are companies who thrive because they have a lot of data and they know very well how to use their data.
Good, good. So now you can have a lot of tools now that do like DSPM, data security posture management. Do you see these tools? I guess in what you're doing now, because you're focused really on data. Do you think these tools are like a value add, or do you think they're just more of a tool that you don't necessarily need as long as you're following certain processes?
Absolutely, I think security tools are always valuable, especially now with AI.
Yeah.
And we see what we see lately. You saw the Cloudflare outage. Uh, when was it? A couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these things, the way that cybersecurity has become important all of a sudden with AI, it's impressive, because now you don't have the traditional methods of hacking or traditional malicious methods. Now everything is built with AI, so it's very smart, and you have to be a step ahead, and it's becoming very hard to be one step ahead. So I think it's critical to integrate cybersecurity tools within your organization.
Yeah. Okay. So as if you had like one belief or principle that you'd pass on to other leaders trying to move fast while making smarter decisions, what would it be?
Well, my belief is measure what matters. That's why you want to learn how to measure what matters, and that's why we need this recommendations engine. Because when you focus on outcomes and impact, there's more clarity. You run your business better, and you ask the better questions, and you succeed.
Good answer. Good answer. So tell me, Max, what's next for you, right? You're building, you're a DataFlair, right? You're building, exploring, you know, that talk to me about DataFlair. Like, I guess maybe let's in a nutshell, just give me kind of like the 30,000-foot view of what it does, and just kind of give me use cases why people would use DataFlair. Yeah.
So thank you for the question. So since I've been quite long in this industry, I started my own startup. I moved to the United States with O1A Extraordinary Ability Visa. It's visa that is dedicated to 3 or 4% people in the world, and so I moved to the United States because it's a bigger market. And my goal, as I said, my big ambitious goal is to change how businesses make decisions. But I also want to make sure that I build these tools for other industries and other niches. Right now it's built for iGaming. So who would use this tool? Everyone who is involved in lead generation, customer acquisition strategies, could use this tool. Let's say you have a business, you want to make money online, you want to go into affiliation, or you simply want to know what your customers want. You could log in, register to DataFlair. I'll offer a free trial. You could put all of your data there, your data meaning the operations data. You could see what do I have for you. You put your industry there. And then you could see a full system interconnected of insights and recommendations on where do you have the opportunity to grow and how can you grow. So it's like a plug and play system where, okay, you want to go into this industry, you want to go into this niche, you want to know what kind of customers and what do they expect there, get into DataFlair. We give you that opportunity.
Oh wow, that's probably an extremely big data set to be able to correlate all that together, huh?
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So I really appreciate you getting into the weeds with me, Max. Is there anything else that you want to, where can people, find out what's going on with DataFlair? Do you have, website, LinkedIn, whatever you wanna advertise?
Yeah. So I do have DataFlair.ai, but I think it's best to follow me on LinkedIn. You can find me Max Emini. I do post regularly. I try my best. So yeah, that would be the best way to reach out to me. And also, Will, I wanted to thank you because I congratulate you on this podcast. I really wish you all the best.
I appreciate it. So to everybody listening, thanks for joining us on Automate or Die Trying. If this conversation got you thinking differently about what comes after the insight, share it with someone who builds, right? Until next time, move fast, stay secure, and automate what matters. Thank you again, Max, for joining us.
Thank you, Will.